Welcome to the CouchScouts podcast. We provide league-winning analysis, advice, and tools to help you dominate your league and build a dynasty. Scout, draft, win. Here's your host, Matt Cooper.
Welcome to the CouchScouts podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper. With me, as always, are my co-hosts, Matt Rupert.
How you doing, my man?
And Matt Jackson.
What's going on, guys?
And we have a special guest tonight, John Fosbury, our quarterbacks guru that helped us out with the rookie guide. John, welcome on the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So we've got a lot of special draft coverage for you guys this week, and we wanted to invite our staff to join us and make appearances for as many of these draft week episodes as we can. So John's joining us tonight. I think Jake's going to be jumping in for a couple later this week. We'll have Skip on, different faces that you'll get to see, which we're excited for y'all to get to know some of the behind the scenes Couch Scouts staff. But yeah, it is draft week. And in honor of the NFL draft happening on Thursday, this is Tuesday night as of the time we're recording, we wanted to get one last rookie mock in. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about that mock in a minute. So want to give you a little bit of a preview, though, of our content for this week. Obviously, in the Dynasty Fantasy Football world, the NFL draft is a huge deal. And as a Dynasty website, we wanted to cover it big time. So Thursday night, starting at 8 o'clock, we are going to have a live hangout in the Couch Scouts Discord. So if you're not in that Discord, check the link in the show notes. If you're on Twitter, click the link in our bio. We want you to come join the Discord. It's totally free. It's a way for us to get to know our community, and we're going to be hanging out live in the voice chat during the draft, reacting to all the picks in round one. So that's Thursday night. Looking forward to that and hanging out with all the guys in the Discord. After that draft ends, late Thursday night, we're going to be recording an immediate day one reaction episode of the podcast that we're going to record and post up so that it'll be ready and waiting for you Friday morning. Friday night, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to record a day two reaction show that it'll be posted up waiting for you on Saturday morning. And then finally, after, Saturday afternoon, when most of day three is done, we're going to do a post NFL draft rookie mock. The very first one, like immediate reaction. We finally have landing spots. We finally have draft capital, and we're going to push that out to you guys again, same day, because we know that dynasty players, a lot of you guys are going to be having your rookie draft within that first week after the NFL draft is done. You're going to need somebody, you're going to have questions. How much should I react or not react to this draft capital or this landing spot? How much should I change my rankings? What should I do? And one, we're going to have a post-draft update for our rookie guide posted for our site members. But two, we're going to have these podcast episodes so you can get in here and hear our immediate reactions. We're here to kind of bring some calm to this frenzy and help you feel prepared going into that rookie draft. So we got you covered on all that.
We're here to bring calm to your rookie draft season, unless the Panthers draft an Xavier Legette again. And then in that case, Cooper is not bringing the calm to this podcast.
Hey, that was not fantasy related. I always knew he was going to suck, regardless of landing spot. I just hate that he went to my NFL team.
That's personally what I'm looking forward to in our Discord hangout this week, is to see what convoluted
who the Panthers draft,
and to see you flip your lid. I'm so excited.
Well, maybe we'll make a good pick. I liked the Jonathan Brooks pick, and we, unfortunately, we haven't really seen him healthy at all. But Panthers woes aside, tonight we're going to be reacting to this mock draft. So we did this in our community Discord. We had 12 of our loyal Discord members, myself and Fosbury over here, were in this mock draft. We participated. I was the first pick. Foz was the 11th pick. And then we had 10 other guys from the Discord that jumped in and participated in this mock draft. And there's a twist to this. So we used an NFL mock draft from Dane Brugler to give hypothetical draft capital and landing spots assigned to these picks. So we were drafting this rookie draft as if that mock draft were actually true. Like, okay, if the Browns actually took Travis Hunter at 2, where would we take him in this mock draft? And so I really like doing this right before the NFL draft because it gets your brain to start thinking that way. How much should I react? How much should I not react? It starts to, obviously these are fake draft capital, fake landing spots. Um, but it just gets your brain to start thinking that way. Like, oh man, I have this guy ranked really high, but he got terrible draft capital or went to a terrible spot. How much do I knock him down? Or man, I really didn't like that guy, but he landed with the Chiefs. Like, how high should I take him now? And those are the kinds of like brain teasers that we're going to get to discuss on the show tonight. And I'm really, really excited to dig into it. So without further ado, let's jump into this draft. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to have us just read off the first round and then give some general we're not going to go pick by pick, but I want to give some general reactions and observations. I've been talking long enough. So Rupert, will you for us please read the first round, read out quickly who from the Discord made the pick so that our people get some shout outs. Who is the pick? And what was the hypothetical draft capital and landing spot?
Yeah, so our man Matt Cooper obviously went 101 with Ashton Genty. In the Dan Brugler's mock, he went pick 5 to the Jaguars, which seems to be picking up some steam from the news today. James Beard at 102 took Travis Hunter, and in the NFL mock, he went pick 2 to the Browns. Corey D went Omari Hampton at pick 3, who went pick number 20 to the Broncos in the first round. And Zach H went Cam Ward at 104, who went pick 101 to the Titans in the NFL mock. Ryan D took Travion Henderson, who went in the second round, pick number 39 to the Bears, which I think is a very interesting landing spot. Genji went Tet McMillan at pick 106, who went pick 9 in the first round to the Saints. Non-Ballin Colin went Quishon Judkins at pick 107, who in the mock went in the second round, pick 44 to the Cowboys. Turn to Woe went Tyler Warren at 108, who went pick 10 to the Bears in the NFL mock. Psalm at 109 went Colston Loveland, who went pick 14 to the Colts in this mock. And at 110, Emeka Ibuka was picked by Rudy, who went pick 29 to the Commanders. And our man Foz went Luther Burden at pick 111, who in the mock draft went in the second round at pick 35 to the Titans to pair with Cam Ward. And then Garrett rounded out the first round, picking Matthew Golden at 112, who went pick 12 to the Cowboys and Dan Brugler's mock.
All right. So thanks, Rupert, for giving us the backstory there. And if you're watching on video, if you don't know, if you're listening on the audio feed and you'd like to see this on the screen, head on over to our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel. As we're recording this live, we're on YouTube and Twitter with video. So we've got this up on the screen if you're a more visual person. I'll just shout out a few outliers here in our mock from what I'm seeing on ADP. So I'm looking at footballguys.com did an article going through Superflex ADP based on 6 different mock drafts that they did, or no, rather 8 different mock drafts that they did, and they took kind of an average draft position from those 8 mocks. So I'm just going to call out, we're not going to do this for every round, but for the first round, I wanted to call out some where we were significantly divergent from that. So Travis Hunter had an ADP of the 11th pick. Obviously, we took him at 2nd, so we were about 10 spots higher. Quinshon Judkins had an ADP of 10th, and we took him here in the at 7th. So not a huge difference, but about 3 spots higher. I wonder how much that had to do with the Cowboys landing spot. We'll talk about that in a minute. Colston Loveland had an ADP of 13th, so first pick of the second round, but he went at the 109 here, so 4 spots higher than his average draft position. Burden here he had an ADP of the 8th pick and obviously fell to 11th in our mock, so we were 3 spots below consensus there. Shador Sanders had a ninth pick ADP, and we didn't take him in the first round. You'll see in a minute where he did end up going. And then Caleb Johnson also had a first round ADP of 12th overall, and we did not take him in our first round. So just wanted to shout out a few outliers there, some bigger than others. But I'll start with you guys. I'll throw it out to you first, Faz. Who do you think are some of the best values in this first round?
I mean, I'm a really big fan of what I took with Bird in there. I'm not necessarily a big fan of the player in particular, but feels like back end 111, like that's a good spot for him. Like, especially that landing spot. Like if he does go to Tennessee, like at 35, like he's not gonna be asked to do a lot with Ridley already there. And it's just gonna play more to his strengths, like being kind of like more of a short underneath guy, and that can really unlock him like in that offense, and he'll be a good security blanket for Ward. So that one jumped out to me. I was hoping for Ibuka to fall, really. Even without the landing spot, I just think he's just like a really safe pick, and getting a guy like him, like in the last 3 picks of the first round, is also a really nice spot. I was very surprised also to see Hunter go so early. I'm not the biggest fan of Travis Hunter, but I know like a lot of people are, but 102 seems a little rich.
Yeah, if you've been listening to Couch Scouts for any amount of time, we have no problem with the Travis Hunter 102 pick. The Browns have already said they're the only team that's on record saying if they take him, it's to primarily play wide receiver. So he goes there in this mock, and I think if he's a primary wide receiver, he's more than talented enough to be the 102. I have no problem with that pick whatsoever, and I don't guess that you guys do either, Jackson and Rupert.
No, not at all. I mean, honestly, I think it's because it's the Browns' landing spot, and because they have been so vocal about primarily playing him at receiver. Like if there's a receiver that they could be the best receiver in this class by a mile, it's Travis Hunter. So yeah, honestly, at 102 there, that's if he gets picked by the Browns, on actual NFL draft night, like that's why I honestly see myself picking him come rookie draft season anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rupert, anything surprise you from this first round or stand out?
Yeah, Judkins, I get with the landing spot to the Cowboys in the second round going that early. Personally, I would have taken pretty much everyone else other than Golden before him, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then, honestly, Golden going at the end of the round, being the 12th pick in the actual NFL mock, is interesting. It seems like that'd be good value to play opposite of CD. I feel like he fits more as a number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that it seems pretty safe there.
Yep. To play devil's advocate, obviously, one speed demon that comes to mind that went really high in the NFL draft, but still was a bust for fantasy is John Ross. So that's what you're afraid of with Matthew Golden, but I think he's a better player than that. And I think he presents fine value, like end of the first, early second. So for me, the biggest value here is Ibuka at the 10th pick. I mean, come on. He goes first round to the Commanders. He's tied long-term to Jaden Daniels, wide open path. They do not have anybody else there really outside of Terry McLaurin, who's aging anyway. So there's a wide open path to as many targets as he can handle day one with a really good quarterback, and you're getting him at 10th. I think that's an absolute steal there. And then I'll just say for my pick, this is not to say that it's a great value because he's the 101 and he deserves to be. But we did have a conversation in the Discord where one of our members, I think it was Rudy, was saying, oh man, first pick already got me thinking, like he goes to the Jags and ETN and Bigsby are there. And I was like, what, no, all due respect to Rudy, all love. I love that we talked it out and had this conversation in the Discord, but I was like, dude, they didn't pick him hypothetically top 5 in this mock draft to have him like in a committee with Travis Etienne. Like that's not what we're doing here. Those guys are from a previous regime. They're both, I mean, have been okay at best in their career. Genty is we've got him graded as a generational prospect. He goes top 5 in the NFL draft. And you look at Cohen, the new coach for the Jaguars, and how he used running backs in Tampa Bay. It was super fantasy friendly. So, like, for me, I love that landing spot. That was, if anything, it increased Genty's value in my mind, not decreased. So I thought that was worth shouting out. And then one landing spot that I did not love, I actually hated, is Tyler Warren to the Bears at pick 10. Like, I mean, that's great draft capital, 10th pick in the draft, but it kind of harkens back to, like, Ben Johnson was just with the Lions, right? And he had Laporta and Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gibbs and Montgomery and all these weapons. And I kind of feel like you're kind of getting to that point with the Bears. If this really happened, you got Travion Henderson going there. You got Tyler Warren going there. You've already got Rome Odunze and DJ Moore. Like, that's just a crowded offense. I would see Tyler Warren as clearly the third in the pecking order as far as targets. And I always want a tight end to be top 2 on his team in targets. So I don't like that landing spot for him, even though the hypothetical draft capital here is very good. Y'all have any other quick thoughts on landing spots before we move on to our next round here?
Honestly, I think the one that we're really missing that we haven't talked about yet is Cam Ward at 104 by Zach H., right? I know this is a weaker quarterback class. I know that there's not a quarterback worthy of the 101 in rookie drafts right now, but you're talking about the guy that's going to be the first overall pick in the NFL draft. In a super flex league, quarterbacks reign supreme, and you're getting the best quarterback in the draft at 104. I think that is a value pick, albeit he's not going to be this generational prospect. Let's not pretend that Cam Ward still isn't a good quarterback, right? He can improv really well. He's got the arm talent to be a sustainable QB2 on your roster. Like, I love that value for Cam Ward at 104.
Yeah, I like it for sure. All right. So let's move on real quick to round 2. And I will read off the picks here. So at the 201, I took our guy, Cam Scattaboo, running back out of Arizona State. In this mock draft that we used, he went late 3rd round to the Kansas City Chiefs. Then James the Beard from Discord at the 202, he took Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, Colorado. In this mock, he went 1st round, pick 21 to the Steelers. Corey Deaton, Dynasty Eeyore, he took Caleb Johnson at the 203. In this mock exercise, he was 3rd round, late-ish to the Giants. Zach Haugen at 204 takes Jackson Dart. In this exercise, he was 1st pick of the 2nd round to the Cleveland Browns, I believe. Maybe 2nd pick. 33rd overall, high pick to a team that really, really needs a quarterback in the Cleveland Browns. So that's who would be hypothetically throwing the ball to Travis Hunter, by the way, in this exercise, is Jackson Dart. Then Ryan D at the 205 goes with Jaden Higgins, who was a early second round pick to the Patriots. Genji takes Jalen Milroe, who was an early 2nd round pick to the Giants. Very next pick after Jackson Dart. The Browns take Dart. The Giants take Milroe. Colin, non-balling Colin, takes Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU, with the 2nd pick, or with the 207 rather, and he was a 2nd round pick to the Jets. Turn 2-0 takes Jalen Knoll at 208. Wide receiver, Iowa State. He was a 2nd round pick to the Cardinals. Psalm at 209 goes with Dylan Sampson, who was a 3rd round pick to the Steelers. Rudy at the 210 takes RJ Harvey, who was a 4th round pick to the Patriots, running back out of UCF. Foz at the 211 grabs Trey Harris, wide receiver from Ole Miss. He was a 2nd round pick to the Chiefs in this exercise. And Garrett at the 212 takes Jack Besh, wide receiver out of TCU. He was a 3rd round pick in this mock draft to the Carolina Panthers. So I will throw it to Rupert first. What stands out to you? I'll start with this question. Who are the best values in this? Well, name one guy. I'll give you, we've got a couple guys on the show here. So I'll give you, who's your one guy that's the best value in this second round here?
I think in this case, Jalen Knoll at more towards the end of the second round, going to the second round of the NFL draft to the Cardinals, I think is really good value. To me, I feel like I would have him ahead of Higgins, Milroe, Taylor, even though I like Taylor. Have him ahead of Caleb Johnson. Yeah, so I think that's good value with that kind of draft capital and landing spot.
Yeah, people on the show might be surprised to hear me say this, but I agree with you. I kind of, if you listen to the Couch GM part of our podcast family, and we did a mock draft of our own a couple weeks ago, and Skip took Null at the 112, and I kind of dinged him a little bit. It's like, that's way too rich for my blood. But a couple things. One, I've rewatched Noel's tape since then, and you'll hear more about that on the bonus podcast tonight if you're a member. So definitely tune in for that. So I did get a little bit higher on Noel, but also 208, like that's way different than the 112. I think that's a really good spot to take a shot on this guy. And second round capital to the Cardinals. He complements Marvin Harrison Jr. perfectly. So yeah, I agree with you. That was my favorite value pick of the second round. Foz, any other value picks stand out to you?
I mean, oh my God, my pick, Trey Harris. I was like physically running around my house when I could like just mock draft this like at 211. At like you telling me he's gonna go second round to the Chiefs, and like that's what they need. They need someone who can win deep, and everything else is already fixed. Like and that's what Trey Harris does. He wins vertically. That's like his biggest thing, and he goes to the team with Patrick Mahomes that needs someone that can win vertically. It's like, man, like you're not gonna do better than that for like a second round pick. I mean, I would have taken him like 202, 201. Like if I had those picks up there, like I like with that draft capital. And I like Trey Harris. I'm probably higher on him than you guys are, but like, we're in this bucket of wide receivers, right? Where like all these guys are kind of grouped together. Like, and I put Harris like more closer to Golden than I would to like Higgins and Knoll and stuff like that. And that's probably just me. But like that was like I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get him here. Like that's amazing. Like I hope this is how like my real drafts work out. If he goes to the Chiefs, of course, right? Like the landing spot's really huge with that one.
Yeah, I mean, we love the Chiefs spot. I worry there. Obviously, assuming that Worthy and Rice are on the field, I think Harris is the third fiddle there. And, I'm not as high on him as you are. I do think 211 is a good value for a guy who went second round to the Chiefs and tied to Patrick Mahomes long term. But 202 would have been pretty rich for me. So we're not exactly seeing that the same way, but I agree that he's a good value there at the 211 where you got him. Jackson, I'll throw it to you. Anybody stand out good values from round two?
Yeah, honestly, for me, it's the 209 and Dylan Sampson going in the third round of the Steelers. Look, Dylan Sampson is a guy that we love on this podcast. I think he's a super talented back, super elusive, really like it is between the tackles running. And he's going to a team that just got rid of Najee Harris, right? That running back room is wide open for the taking. And I think Dylan Sampson has the ability to come in there and do something with it if that's the landing spot. Mm-hmm. Like I'm looking at this, I would take Dylan Sampson above Knoll, above Taylor, above Milroe. I would take him above Jaden Higgins, Sedor Sanders. Like he's an early to mid second round pick, not a late second round pick to me. So like I personally love that value on Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one more name I'll throw in there is Jack Besh. I personally have him higher than Trey Harris. It's close, but I think he's a better player. And I like this Panthers landing spot. Obviously, he's not tied to Patrick Mahomes, and it's not as sexy of an offense, but like a much clearer path to being like the guy. The Panthers desperately need a playmaker for Bryce Young. Xavier Legette is not it. I'm just telling you right now, Xavier Legette is not it. So Jack Besh in this exercise, like he's going to get fed targets, and I think he's a really good wide receiver prospect. So I love that value for Garrett at the 212. Some values that I did not like, I'll just say, you mentioned you like Mason Taylor, Rupert. I do not like Mason Taylor. I think he's overrated. I don't think he's that great. So I know he gets second round draft capital in this exercise. And obviously with the Jets, they need a tight end and there's room for targets in that offense. But 207 is just rich for me. I've got like a 4th round grade on Mason Taylor for me personally. And then RJ Harvey. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know this. He's 24 years old. He's going to turn 25 as a rookie. In this exercise, he's a day 3 pick. You're not talking about like, oh, he went day 2. And the Patriots, like, it's not like it's a clear path. Like, oh yeah, RJ Harvey's going to be the guy. Like they signed Ramondre Stevenson to a long-term extension. So like probably Stevenson's the first 2-down grinder. And then, maybe Harvey gets in there as a change of pace back. But for me, like that pick at the 210 was pretty rich for me for a guy who's 24 years old, went in the 4th round of the draft, not to a super ideal landing spot. Like that one doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, and quick shout out, Scattaboo to the Chiefs. Come on, man. Please give me that. Please give me that in real life.
For somebody that we've literally comped as like a prime Kareem Hunt. Going down.
Oh my gosh. Easiest pick at 201, like smash draft. All right. We didn't talk about the quarterbacks a lot. I'll just say, like, if you go read the rookie guide, like we're not high on Shedeur Sanders, but I get it. Like he went in the 1st round. You get him in the 2nd round of a super flex draft. I'm not going to fault anybody for making that pick. It's a little, I would have gone other directions, but I get it. So, and then obviously,
I still don't know too if I'm checking Jalen Milroe at 206 either.
Well, I mean, early 2nd round, he's probably at least going to get a chance. They all go to really quarterback needy teams. Like I get it in a super flex league why you would spend a 2nd round pick taking a chance on some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, especially Sanders, right? Like where he's like drafted to the Steelers to be the starter, presumably. Like if he's drafted at 21. And the other two, Dart and Milroe, it's like a murky situation where they could, if they like show out in camp, but like they're most likely sitting and like taking over for a veteran at some point. And like, they have obvious, like, we talked about in the rookie guide, right? There's obvious like holes in their game that they need to work on a lot, like Milroe more so than Dart, but then Miller has the rushing. So it's like, it's tough. But like, I think middle of the 2nd round, you could make an argument for yourself, like why you would take them.
For sure. All right. So let's move on. I'm going to take a quick break. I got to shout out to you guys, the website. Okay. So CouchScouts.com. We've mentioned the rookie guide a couple times. We have worked really, really hard on that thing. We've got 73 prospects in there. We might even add a few more in the post-draft update. It's 166 pages, tons and tons of great info, film grades, rankings, detailed scouting reports. We've color coded our rankings by tiers, so it's really easy to see should I trade up or down within a tier. It is the ultimate cheat sheet for dominating your rookie draft. We also have bonus podcast episodes. I mentioned tonight we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about Jalen Knoll and also Jalen Royals, who we're going to talk about in a minute on this show. Lots and lots of value on the Couch Scouts package. So get in on that. Right now, we're running 50% off all of our annual packages using the promo code FFT. There's still a few of those hanging out there after that appearance last week. And so 50% off all of our annual packages, which are already not that expensive. So you use that code, you could get the rookie guide, the bonus podcast, the one-on-one team consultation, all of that for $25 for a whole year. And I highly recommend taking advantage of that. So CouchScouts.com, definitely get in on the Couch Scouts family. Without further ado, let's get into rounds 3 and 4. We'll go a little bit quicker here on these rounds. So, Foz, will you read off our results here for the listeners?
Yeah, sure. Matt Cooper at 301 drafted Elijah Arroyo, and he was drafted pick 55 in the 2nd round by the Chargers. James the Beard, 302, drafted Jalen Royals, wide receiver from Utah State, drafted second round, pick 58 to the Texans. Corey D, 303, drafted Ollie Gordon, running back from Oklahoma State. Fourth round, 108 to the Raiders. Zach H, 304, drafted tight end Terrence Ferguson from Oregon. Third round, pick 85 to the Broncos. Ryan D, 305, drafted running back Damian Martinez from Miami. Went in the fourth round, pick 113 to the 49ers. Genji, 306, drafted running back Trevor Etienne from the University of Georgia. Fourth round, pick 118 or 119 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Non-ball and Colin, pick 307, picked running back Bashal Tutin from Virginia Tech. Fourth round, pick 125 to the Chargers. Turn 2, 308, drafted running back DJ Giddens, Kansas State. Fourth round, pick 128 to the Commanders. Psalm, 309, drafted wide receiver running back Sivian Williams, TCU. Third round, pick 92 to the Seahawks. Rudy, 310, drafted Harold Fannin, tight end from Bowling Green. Went in the third round, pick 96 to the Eagles. Yours truly, myself, Foz, pick 311, drafted running back Devin Neal from Kansas. He went in the fourth round, pick 131 to the Saints. And then final pick in the third round, 312, was Garrett, who drafted wide receiver Torrey Horton from Colorado State, who was drafted third round, pick 86 to the Chargers.
All right, so for these last couple rounds, just for the sake of time, I've got 4 questions here: best values, worst values, landing spots we love, landing spots we hate, and there's 4 of us on the show, so we'll each take a question. I'll start here with the best value. I'll say Elijah Arroyo. That was my pick at the 301, but man, second round to the Chargers, like that is so juicy, and he has so much upside. To get him in the third round is everybody else basically in this round outside of these first 2 guys, Arroyo and Royals, was round 3 or later. Those guys were second round picks. Royals as well. I mean, immediate path to opportunity with the Texans, second round pick, player I really like. So I think Arroyo and Royals are both really good value here. And then Martinez and Tutin. I've got like a mid second round pre-draft grade on Damian Martinez. So to get him here in the middle of the third round is a steal. Obviously, he goes round 4, and he goes to the 49ers, which, they can really crank out some running back production. CMC is up there in years. Like, if you're telling me Damian Martinez could be like the long-term running back for San Francisco, and I'm going to get him in the mid-third round, like, I love that. And then Tutin as well, like second round grade on him. He goes to the Chargers. They have a wide open running back room. He's super talented. Like, I think those are really good values here in round 3. I will throw it to you, Rupert. Who are the worst values in round 3?
I didn't like Terrence Ferguson that early. To me, especially with Fanning going later, I would have absolutely taken Fanning there before Ferguson. I get it's a juicy landing spot. I didn't really love the tape. So to me, that was probably the one that stuck out the most.
And they signed Evan Ingram this offseason. So it's not even as juicy of a landing spot as it could have been. And I just think Terrence Ferguson is living off combine hype. I hated the tape. I just calling a spade a spade. I did not think he had any fantasy upside at all. Sorry, Zach. And I'll say Savion Williams too. I just don't think he has what it takes to make it at the wide receiver position in the NFL. He's a special teams guy. If he converts to running back, I might have some interest. So we're not
going to talk about Ollie Gordon at the top of the third round.
I mean, he went to the Raiders, so he's got a path there.
So bad.
But yeah, I don't think he's a good player either. So those are eval related. It's not related to the draft capital landing spot. Those are just players that I don't like. So, all right, landing spots. I'll go to you, Foz. What are some of the landing spots you love?
Yeah, I mean, Fannin to the Eagles there is like really good with, aging Goder and, so you should have a path to play time. And he's like really good after the catch of the ball in his hands too. So he's going to add like a really dynamic element to that offense if he can get on the field and like develop in the short term. I also like that I get into the Commanders. I was kind of I'm hoping in real life that the Commanders take an earlier back, but I mean, whoever lands there in if anyone lands there in day 1 or 2, like that's ideal. But like, if we're gonna get DJ Giddens, who has some talent, he doesn't have like a lot of like pop, but like he's good in like the can get like first downs here and there. Like he'll be good on the Commanders. I mean, and I guess Horton to the Chargers just because again, kind of like they need someone else, and that someone else is fine. I wish it was someone other than Horton, but like, hey, you get what you get, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously anybody that lands with the Chargers, I love the Chargers. Obviously, you're tied to Justin Herbert.
And I forgot ETN to the Bengals. Like that kind of rocks too. Like
really,
I mean, I don't think Chase Brown's like really long for the league, and ETN I think is good enough where he's gonna. It may turn into a situation that you don't want either of them, but I mean,
that's kind of what I'm afraid. Like. Yeah.
See that's where I was going to disagree. When you threw it to me for landing spots we hated, he was going to be one of mine that I didn't particularly care for.
Yeah, I would have had skills. We love ETN. It's not saying we don't care for ETN. It's the landing spot. Go ahead, Jackson. Say what you're going to say.
No, I think that landing spot is so murky, and that's a team, honestly, that even if you look at their defense, right, their defense consistently puts them behind, so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, which helps with the PPR upside of ETN, but he's not going to get much room between the tackles. The backfield is crowded. I personally like, the running backs that they have there, Chase Brown. I think he's serviceable back. I'll throw another one that I don't particularly care for. I know you kind of said you liked it with Damian Martinez to the 49ers. That's another one of those like crowded backfield. Shanahan has a habit to ride the hot hand. So if Martinez isn't the hot hand, how often is he going to get the ball in his hands? Like, I think those two specifically, just because of how murky those spots are guys that I love. We love their film, but I'm not in love with their landing spots.
I'll back you up, Oz. I like ETN to the Bengals personally.
Thanks, Rupert.
I think Chase Brown's a good player. I think he was a day 3 guy that we didn't expect to break out like he did, but like they're not looking to replace him, and if they were. They would be looking higher than this I think if you take ETN in round 4, it's to be a complimentary player, but he's a receiving back. And I think he and Chase Brown are too similar. Like there's not a stylistic thing where they fit together very well in my eyes.
Well, since he was a day 3 pick, he's not on a long-term contract. So I don't think they're going to re-sign him for big money when he's up.
That's true. But he was only a second year player. I thought he had a couple years left, but
yeah.
All right.
Next year his contract's out.
All right, we got one more round to do. We'll go pretty quick on this one. I mean, there's even some undrafted guys that went in this round. Jackson, why don't you read off the results for us real quick?
Yeah, so Cooper at 401 took Isaiah Bond, a wide receiver out of Texas, who was a 4th-round pick 116 to the Dolphins. James the Beard took Gunnar Helm, tight end from Texas. He was a 3rd-round pick 88 to the Jaguars. Corey D took Jordan James, running back out of Oregon, 4th-round pick 104 to the Browns. Zach H took Tyler Shuck, quarterback out of Louisville, 2nd-round pick 40 to the Saints. Ryan D, Kyle Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State. He was a 3rd-round pick 73 to the Jets. Genji took Andrew Armstrong, wide receiver out of Arkansas. He was an undrafted free agent. Non-ball and Colin took Taj Brooks, running back out of Texas Tech. He was a 7th-round pick 253 to the Dolphins. Turn to Woe took Alec Ayamanor, wide receiver out of Stanford, 3rd-round pick 87 to the Packers. Psalm pick 409 took Daniel Jackson, a wide receiver out of Minnesota, who unfortunately was an undrafted free agent. See that coming this draft. I'm not looking forward to it. Rudy at pick 410 took Ja'Cory Croskey Merritt, running back out of Arizona, 5th-round pick 152 to the Cardinals. Foz at 411 picked Jadon Blue, running back out of Texas. It was a 6th-round pick 187 to the Vikings. And then Garrett finished up the 4th round at 412, picking Will Howard, quarterback out of The Ohio State University. 5th-round pick 143 to the Raiders.
All right. So we had at least one guy in this draft, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, that didn't even get covered in our rookie guide. Maybe we'll cover him in the post-draft update. We'll see. If he goes round 5, we probably won't bother. But here he is, being taken in a 4-round rookie mock. Some of the values here, I will say people might not expect to hear this from me because we're not big Aomanor guys, but I think to get him at 408 when he's a day 2 pick is a pretty good value. Almost nobody else that went here in round 4 was a day 2 pick. I personally liked getting Bond in round 4. He goes to the Dolphins. Like, that is round 4 draft capital is not great. You got to assume like he's a 2nd round talent at least who's fallen that far because of the off-field issues. So you get a 2nd round talent player to the perfect scheme fit that knows how to use a speed demon like this. And, all these rumors that Tyreek Hill wants out. Like, for me, that was a smash draft pick at the 401. And then Kyle Williams, he goes round 3 to the Jets. They don't really have a lot outside of Garrett Wilson at the wide receiver position. Round 3 is decent draft capital. He's a decent player. Like, I think that's good value there at the 405. So those were my 3 favorite value picks. And I got to shout out Psalm because he just believed in the brand. All right. He knew he was undrafted and he still took Daniel Jackson because he believed in our eval. So thanks, Psalm, for your faith in us. All right. Rupert, worst values. All of the above.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I'd probably say Armstrong going before Aomanor, even though I am not a fan of Aomanor. Again, just what you said, the fact that he went day 2 to the Packers, even though it's a loaded room.
Versus UDFA.
Versus a guy. Yeah. I didn't hate Armstrong's game. I just don't know how fantasy relevant he would be. To me, he looks like a solid wide receiver 3 or 4 on the team.
Yeah. All right. So we're over time here, and I don't think we need to talk a ton about landing spots in this last round. I will just say that I think we should probably talk about Tyler Shuck because in this mock, he goes early 2nd round to the Saints, who have a bad need for quarterback, and he falls all the way to the middle of the 4th round here. Foz, I'm going to throw it to you as our quarterback guru. I've got some thoughts too, but what do you think about Shuck here at the 404? Is he a value?
I mean, yeah, this is the super flex thing, right? Where he has to be a value if he's drafted to the Saints in the 2nd round. Like, it's a murky QB room. Like, he very well could come out of camp as the starter, and it's like you have to draft it. Like, you have to draft him. You're going to give him in the 4th. You're going to get him in the 4th. But like, I don't think he's a good player. Like, I wouldn't. I consider taking him unless it was a situation like this. Like, like there's a guy that didn't get drafted in the 4th round that I would take who didn't even get drafted to be the starter, and that's Dylan Gabriel. Like, in this mock draft, he goes to the Dolphins in the 4th round. Like, I'd be much happier taking him, because I think he's pretty good, whereas Shuck I don't think is pretty good. It's one of those things where the NFL's like, the NFL's full of rational actors, and Shuck is going to be this next version of that where he's teams fall in love with guys and for whatever reason, and like that doesn't mean you should too. But in the 4th round in Superflex, like, why not?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll just speak real quick because I took Bond over him, obviously. And this was a good discussion that we had in our Discord about this because, the question was asked, like, basically, is he the value here? How do you pass on him? If he gets a chance to start, you could flip him for a 2nd round pick, and you're taking him here in the 4th round and, all this stuff. And my answer was really this. I've got Bond at 23rd in my pre-draft rankings. And I've got Shuck, I got to scroll a ways here to find him, at 67th, right? So draft capital and landing spot matter, but if I'm going to take a guy that was 67th and draft him ahead of the guy that I had 23rd, like, I am overreacting to the draft at that point, to me. Like, why even bother watching all the film and doing all this analysis? And if you're going to throw it all out the window to that extent, then what we're doing means nothing. So to me, like, I get all the rationale. Like there's a path. He could be a starting quarterback. Da 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 da. I think even if he gets the starting job, everybody knows it's temporary. So you're not getting a second round pick for him. I think that's a pipe dream. I'm not convinced that he beats out Spencer Rattler. So like I'm fine throwing the dart on him in round 4, but I just wanted to put that out there that like we react, but we don't overreact. So, all right, we're at 45 minutes. And I think that's a good way to end it because the real draft is coming on Thursday, and we got the same job. React, but don't overreact. So we're going to be talking about all this when the real draft comes along, and we're really excited to do that. So get in the Discord if you're not already. It's going to be a really fun place to react to the draft together. We'll give you lots of help. There's an on-the-clock channel where you can get real-time advice when you're on the clock in your rookie draft. So definitely jump in the Discord and join the Couch Scouts family. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast app you're using, and we will see you guys. Our next episode is going to be released Friday morning, right after day 1 of the draft. So we'll see you guys Friday morning, and we'll talk to you then.